Welcome in to DC On Screen, a podcast about the DC Universe properties being brought to film and television. This is episode 178. It is our weekly news episode. If it has been released, it's fair game. Also, if it's rumor, it might be fair game. I don't know. So beware of spoilers. I'm your host, David C. Roberson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hey!
And unfortunately, we are opening the show with some sad news this week. Darwyn Cooke died. He was 53 years old. On Friday, I saw it said his wife posted a message that said that he was receiving palliative care following a bout with aggressive cancer. And if you don't know what that means, it means basically they're just making him as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that was going on until Friday.
You're at like less than 2% chance when you get to palliative.
Yeah, and the very next morning he died, about 1:30 a.m. So
yeah,
they did say that they had read messages, all the messages of support that he had been getting all day. They said he was filled with your love and surrounded by friends and family at his home in Florida. They're saying if you want to help out, you can donate to the Canadian Cancer Society and the Hero Initiative. I don't know if you know what the Hero Initiative is, but it is a charity for comic book creators who have fallen on hard times and have issues that they need financial support for. So
that sounds wildly fitting.
Absolutely. They ended the announcement with the quote, "Then we shall not be weary, then we shall prevail," which is Darwyn penned from John F. Kennedy's speech in New Frontier. If you don't know who Darwyn Cooke was, he was a writer and an artist. And he was an animator as well. He was a storyboard artist for Bruce Timm's Batman the Animated Series, and he was also in the new Batman Adventures. He was on Superman the Animated Series in the same role. He was a director on Sony's Men in Black animated series. He did the very, very wonderful DC's New Frontier series that you can find in graphic novel form. He's just done a whole lot of stuff.
Parts of it look extremely similar to what was happening on BTAS too.
But at the same time, very, very retro.
Yeah,
and just wonderful. He did the.
You can tell it has a little bit of influencer.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite things that he did was the opening title sequence for Batman Beyond. And he also did the...
that was good.
The Batman Beyond short where Terry has to fight all of the different versions of Batman throughout the years. It was for the 75th anniversary.
Yeah, that thing was fantastic.
So, yeah, he did some really wonderful things. He'll be sorely missed. He's always been an inspiration to me as someone who draws. I won't say I'm an artist, but I do very much enjoy drawing, and he's always been one of those for me. So it's very sad to hear him go.
Yeah,
or hear that he's gone now. Would you like to move on from this somber topic into, well, what may still be a somber topic, but less so?
We'll graduate upwards from damn it to oh damn it.
Right. Well, I mean, it's not a surprise. Batman v Superman. Yeah, numbers-wise, BVS has not moved very much. The worldwide total at this point is 868,814,243.
Yeah.
The domestic total is 328,214,243. Civil War has now crushed it. Absolutely. I mean, it's been 2 months since BVS, and it's been 2 weeks since Civil War, and they're already over the 900 million mark worldwide. And I think we are going to actually talk about Civil War at the end of this episode, just a little bit. Not like a full review, but just a little bit.
Okay.
We had some people on Twitter wanting to know what our thoughts were on it. So, yeah. Seeing as how it's being consistently compared to Batman v Superman, why the hell not?
Sure. I have 2 pennies. You may have them.
What's the Stephen Wright joke? It's you have to throw your 2 cents in, but it's a penny for your thoughts. Somebody somewhere is making a penny.
Damn his great one-liners.
So, some really exciting news, and this is blowing up. This is actually breaking news. And I hate that term, but it is. It's totally breaking news. It's trending on Facebook right now.
Woo!
The Hollywood Reporter is saying that WB is contemplating a spinoff that would feature Harley Quinn, Batgirl, and the Birds of Prey.
What?
We don't know who's writing it, but it is a female writer, and we know Margot Robbie might be the producer. She says that, or it says the sources are saying that she was the impetus for the project. That she, once she got the part for the movie, she dove deep into the comics, kind of fell in love with all these other female characters in DC,
right?
And brought on this writer, this mystery writer, to help develop the project. And they brought it to Warner's, and Warner's snapped it up.
All right.
I'm excited about that.
I could not be more on board if yeah.
I'm like, are we doing Birds of Prey? Are we doing Gotham Sirens?
You don't even have to call it either of those. Just throw them all on screen.
Yeah, I gotta admit.
You can name it Plan 9 from Outer Space 2. I'm still watching that shit.
I mean, this is, just, I can't believe this is happening. It's crazy. And this is not
and
the
hopefully
only
it
crazy
is just kind of
movie news
happening.
that's apparently true.
I'd
Yeah.
hate for that to just be a rumor. But
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
even if you didn't like BVS, don't let it get you down. There's still fun things coming.
Definitely seems that way. This week has been a big week for that crap, man. There's just crazy news coming out of the woodwork. Robbie, by the way, is making the rounds talking about which character she thought was the best in the movie. She said, I thought, in Suicide Squad, she says, I thought that I had the best character in the movie.
There you go.
I wouldn't trade my character in Suicide Squad for anyone else's. She also talked a little bit
That's not
about,
conceit. That feels objectively true, because it's watching these trailers. I'm not sure anyone else could have done what she did. What it looks like she's about to do, at least.
I know. She's also talking about like how Harley is not a superhero. She says she doesn't even have superpowers. She's just a psychopath who runs around gleefully killing people. She finds joy in causing mayhem, which makes her weirdly endearing and fun to watch.
Yeah, that all checks. That
tracks more so with the New 52. It really does.
Yeah, but that's because they took out the whole second fiddle to Joker thing with the New 52. That's something they actually did really well with New 52.
Well, one of the things that New 52 gets credit for is, and shouldn't, is that. Because even in the animated series, which created, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini created her.
Yeah.
Back in the animated series, I mean, shit, man, when she got sick of Joker's stuff, man, when she realizes, like, oh, yeah, you were going to drop this bomb on Arkham, and or Gotham, and you weren't going to have time to come back for me? Well, yeah. All right, playtime's over, clown.
Well, yeah. I think she shoots down his plane, right?
Yeah, and almost kills him. Like, just can't bring herself to do it, but... I mean,
I don't know, even
takes him down. She saves Gotham City.
They gave her some legs as the series went on, but it was still very much... Absolutely. She was... the codependency, actually, that they've always talked about with her and Joker was still prevalent there. It hasn't been as much prevalent in the New 52 stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just... I don't know. I don't want to give too much credit to the New 52.
Just in general?
And I also, like, want to discredit, like, the people... I kind of want to discredit the people who are like, oh, Harley's never been this way before. Bullshit.
It seems like it honestly seems like she's kind of been working her way toward it the whole time.
Yeah.
When she first appeared on BTAS, she was almost unnamed girl henchman. Like,
oh yeah,
she was nothing. She
what was it? Joker's Favor, the first one, where she was like something about my mother was right. I shouldn't have left beauty school.
Yeah, so it was. There was nothing to it. There was no heart, no substance, nothing. Oh, we got there though.
I kind of want to discredit New 52, and also kind of want to, like, I don't know, give it its props at the same time. It's not like they, like, just completely rewrote the book on Harley Quinn. Like,
no, they continued a progression that I appreciated.
Absolutely. Gleefully killing people. I mean, I've seen that version in the comics. Even, it's just we'll see, I guess. I don't know. So, before we get into any more news, I'm going to throw into this. We are sponsored by Loot Crate.
Yes, we are.
And if you don't know, which I know you know.
Of course.
But if you, listening audience, don't know. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for epic, geek, and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique, one-of-a-kind items, and more. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's Loot Crate. And when that cutoff happens, you are done.
Tick-tock.
Make sure to head over to www.lootcrate.com/giant size team up and enter the code giant size team up to save $3 on any new subscription. The onslaught of big summer movies makes May the perfect time to celebrate some of pop culture's unstoppable, unrelenting, and unbeatable characters and objects. Loot Crate has got something you can carry, something for your kitchen, and a cool figure to go with your monthly tea and pin, featuring 2 Marvel items, plus Warcraft and Dragon Ball Z. No one crate should be this powerful. That's what we got going this month on Loot Crate. Guys, go over there and get you some of that, man.
You might be doing it anyway. Just go save money on top of it.
Yeah, cancel, re-up with us.
Yeah. There's still
We'll probably get in trouble for saying that. I don't know. They didn't tell us we couldn't say that.
If it's omitted, it's fair game.
Anyway.
Forgiveness, then permission.
That's the plugs. Now here's the rest of the news here.
Yes.
So, Gal Gadot, we talked about last week, says she's wrapped her Wonder Woman scenes. Then Patty Jenkins popped up and said, no, wait, the whole movie's wrapped. So, okay, there we go.
Doesn't make Gal a liar.
No, she just said she was done. She didn't say it was...
Makes her very specific.
And Green Lantern Corps has been bumped back a month to July 2020. Oh, no.
You know what's sad?
And
like,
unbearable.
If you had done that to me in May 2020, I would be like rioting outside offices right now. But right now, I'm thinking, 4 years.
Right,
whatever.
right.
4 years in a month.
Next month, it'll be like March 2020.
Right.
They'll just keep going back and forth, moving it around.
We're gonna get
They've got Godzilla
it'll be an average
2.
of mid to late May.
I think 2020. Oh, after Justice League. Oh, okay. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever. Do we have to have Green Lantern? We do? Okay.
By the time this is all over, I'm thinking we probably will want him.
Right, of course. Absolutely. But, you know...
they have me looking forward to a Cyborg movie, for God's sake.
They do. But at this juncture, you know, I'm sort of just like... It feels like it's so far away.
Yep.
It's less than 5 years, but...
Yeah.
It feels like it's so far away, and there's a Justice League and an Aquaman and another Justice League and a Flash, and honestly right now, like, I only have so much like glee within me, so much excitement for any number of things, and right now I am just holding back buckets of urine waiting for the new episode of The Flash.
Yeah, I mean we're at the end of TV season, and even the screwed up parts of TV season are at least getting interesting. Even if it's a car
Flash
wreck.
is not one of the screwed up.
No.
Flash is not one of the screwed up segments of television, to be clear.
Arrow's getting a little weird on us, but it's still like you watch a car wreck and it hits the one car, and then that car careens into another car, and now you just can't stop watching, and I'm afraid I'm going to be the next car because the guys in front of me have turned on their brakes. It's enthralling for better or worse.
So you know what else is
wrapping
enthralling?
up Legends this week, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah. Snart!
Oh, we've got some news about Snart.
Oh, good.
But before that, more movie news.
All right.
Exciting movie news. Booster Gold is happening.
Yes! Hold on. I'm gonna move a little further away. Yes!
Yeah, okay. There you go. So, do you know who Zach Stentz is?
Oh, God, I know that name. Hit me. What do you got?
Well, he wrote Thor, and he wrote X-Men First Class.
There it is. First Class. That's where I saw that name.
And he also wrote the episode of Flash that Kevin Smith directed that we saw last week.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
Apparently, he has confirmed he is writing the Booster Gold movie. Greg Berlanti confirmed that Warner Brothers is moving ahead with the Booster Gold film. He says he doesn't know if he's directing it yet, but they are... he says he'd probably direct. And he would want to. Mm-hmm. They did ask if he would want to do a Flash movie, since they doesn't have a director anymore. And he says, no one's discussed that with me, but I would never direct a Flash movie that Grant Gustin wasn't the lead of. He's my Flash. But Berlanti does give advice for whoever the director of the Flash is. He says, we have 3 words above the door of the Flash writer's room: heart, humor, and spectacle. I'm glad he said that, because that's one of the things I love about the Flash. That's like the genetic makeup of the Flash. And I've always wondered what happened to the other shows. And he just said, no, it's at the Flash writer's room. That's not above
Our
the Arrow
Legends.
Yeah.
Not above the Berlantiverse writer's room. Just Flash.
But he does. He says if you're going to do something like the Flash, part of what makes or what made Barry Allen so great was that he was this guy in the middle of all of these superheroes who couldn't believe that he was there, and he loved it. It was the first comic book character who made me cry. He died in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Spoiler, 40-year-old spoilers.
Right.
Saving everybody.
Still good.
And he was the last one anyone expected to save everyone. So inherent in this character was this heartbroken sadness and sacrifice, but at the same time, this joy. That duality is something I've really latched onto in a lot of what I've done. This is the only Flash I'd know how to do.
And that's why he's doing him right these days, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Mm-hmm. So, here's the thing. This is a Justice League rumor.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's too spoilery, personally. It's just a rumor, and who knows? So, sorry if I shouldn't have said this. But, with our rules, I don't know.
You have made me dubious, but
I know.
I'll have to trust you. Go for it.
Yeah, there is a rumor that's going around, and it's saying that we won't see Darkseid as a major villain in Justice League Part 1, that he'll just be in the beginning. Because if you remember in BVS, Wonder Woman says that she has seen things from other worlds before, or fought things from other worlds before. There's an idea that that Darkseid is going to be at the beginning of the film through a flashback.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to show. It's going to be about 30,000 years ago, and it's going to show the Amazonians, the Atlanteans, and man successfully fighting off Darkseid on Earth. And the plot will involve him having left 3 mother boxes behind, and that Steppenwolf is going to be the big bad of Justice League Part 1.
Well, that'll explain the communion scene.
I would explain the communion scene. And I do, like, Squadcast was talking about this. But yeah, as soon as I saw the Amazonians and the Atlanteans, I just went, shit, that's awesome. I mean, that's
that
perfect.
alone.
That's perfect. Like, and like Squadcast actually goes into like, yeah, like how like the Greeks were spoke of the Atlanteans and of Atlantis in the real world, and how those things would tie together really well. Right. So, and I completely agree.
Yeah.
And if this is the case, I might be on board. But what's bothersome, what's really aggravating, is everyone's all like news outlets are taking this and putting such a negative spin on it already. Like, who's Steppenwolf? So we're not gonna get Darkseid. We're gonna get some piece of shit uncle of Darkseid that no one knows. Like, way to do it, Justice League. Like, oh, Warner Brothers is screwing up again. Like, it's just, it's so negative, man. It's pissing me off.
Don't get me wrong. I have.
I kind of agree.
I want to say in the last week I have openly said, "Oh, what are you going to get, Steppenwolf?" But give him a chance. Damn.
Right.
Want to just wander right into Darkseid? Like, what? All right. Say you did Darkseid in Justice League Part 1. Who the hell is Part 2? Anti-Monitor? All right. Then why are we doing the rest of the series?
I don't know, what you said sounded pretty good.
I mean, Darkseid War is happening right now with those two fighting, so maybe maybe they rewrite the entire thing, rekajigger, if you will, and
right.
Part 1, Part 2 it. But there's a lot of fun you can have. Steppenwolf's not going to be. All right, it doesn't matter who you grabbed. It could have been Granny Goodness, and dear God, I have stated how I feel about that. But it's still a new god. It's still a new god. You're still introducing a new god in Justice League Part 1.
Yeah.
And yeah, you may be burying the lead saying there's Darkseid and we've defeated him before, but you're still going to get a new god. You're going to be okay here, guys.
Right. I mean, I say everyone, but what I really mean is these assholes.
These asshole news outlets.
These asshole
don't agree with
news
us.
outlets are like, oh, Steppenwolf, he's just another Doomsday. He's a big CGI guy. In the comics, he was a humanoid with a helmet. I'm looking at you, Nerdist.
And yeah, they probably will CGI him.
Well, sure.
I mean, that's what they did with Thanos.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of the easiest thing to do. I get it.
Oh, yeah, and that's another point that's being brought up. Like, oh, this is sounding a whole lot like the Avengers.
Bollocks! We've talked about this history.
And I'm like, yeah, but it's because the Avengers ripped off... Oh, man. Ripped off DC back in the comics.
Well, not necessarily the Avengers, but Marvel did.
Well, Marvel did, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, guys. They're the same thing with different tone.
Yeah.
This is what we were signing up for. You realize that, right?
Yeah, to me it was. I didn't necessarily want to double down. I kind of wanted to buy insurance, if you will.
Right. So, there are rumors, and this one comes from over in Birth Movies Death with Devin Faraci. So grain of salt.
Yep.
But it didn't seem like he was being a dick this time. So okay, but apparently the rumor is Willem Dafoe is playing an Atlantean. We don't know who.
Dear God.
Yeah. So there's that.
Right.
And he also is saying that his sources tell him that rather than shoot in a water tank this time, Zack Snyder has set up an elaborate rig on a green screen stage. It's a two-armed rig with Momoa clutched in one arm while the camera is clutched in the other. The two arms are pre-programmed to move in sync so that Momoa can do all kinds of maneuvers while the camera moves around him, and he's assuming that Momoa's hair will be CGI'd into a flowy underwater look, as he says. So, yeah, that sounds all about right.
No,
I mean,
that actually works for me. Because, my one problem with the Aquaman shot in BVS is you can tell he's holding his breath. You can see it in the flare of the nostrils.
That was just his rage. His rage at that little probe that he was about to stab with his pointy.
It was,
Can I refer to that as his pointy instead of his trident?
Sure.
It's probably not a good idea.
No, not long term, but, for now. His tri-pointy?
Oh, this may be why that person said that we were idiots on iTunes.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, they call Aquaman's trident his pointy.
Right.
So
go ahead and write him off.
We can't trust these assholes.
I wouldn't either.
So
no harm. No harm intended.
I'm going to I was certain we talked about this. But then the internet decided to bring it up again like it was news. So I'm going to bring it up again because apparently, I don't know if it was like, it was confirmed to be green. It was like greenlit as far as being shot or whatever. But the Superman prequel Krypton pilot has been picked up at Syfy. I don't know. It's not a series yet. We might never see it. Who knows? We don't know what's happening.
Not everything can make it past that pilot.
But you know what did make it past the pilot stage?
Yes, I do.
Powerless on NBC has received a series order. I'm very excited about that.
More
I don't know why.
Alan Tudyk in the world. That's why you're excited
Alan
about
Tudyk,
that.
Danny Pudi. Actually, it actually sounds pretty good. Like,
yeah.
I don't know Vanessa Hudgens from anything. Like, they say, like, Grease Live and High School Musical. And I'm like, okay.
Okay, sure. Great.
Whatever. All right.
Not our cup of tea. No one was punching anyone. We weren't.
Here's the synopsis they're giving us. In the first comedy series set in the universe of DC Comics, Vanessa Hudgens plays Emily, a spunky young insurance adjuster specializing in regular people coverage against damage caused by the crime-fighting superheroes. It's when she stands up to one of these larger-than-life figures after an epic battle messes with her commute that she accidentally becomes a cult hero in her own right, even if it's just to her group of lovably quirky co-workers. Now, while she navigates her normal, everyday life against an explosive backdrop, Emily might just discover that being a hero doesn't always require superpowers. That sounds alright.
That could be fun. I remember them saying she had an assistant who was actually a superhero groupie.
Yeah. She has an assistant superhero groupie. She, I don't know, there's a Danny Pudi and a Alan Tudyk running around.
It sounded like Danny Pudi was going to be Dwight, and I'm going to put it in office metaphors here. Danny Pudi was going to be Dwightish,
sure.
And Alan Tudyk was kind of going to be...
Michaelish?
A little bit, but even more conceited and never sure that he's wrong about anything. Which would be all right.
I'm down. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is, or most people, seem to be referring to The Office by comparisons. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I hope it doesn't play like The Office completely, because I'm tired of every show doing that now.
No, I could deal with a normal single camera. Let's try.
I'm actually hoping more for a Brooklyn Nine-Nine type of thing.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm hoping for, yeah.
Huh. I was actually thinking more Superstore. It's new. It's new.
I don't know that reference.
But it's actually really good.
Okay. So, big news here. What we had conjectured last week turned out to be true. Supergirl was renewed for a second season, going to the CW, going to Vancouver. They're going to be right up against each other with the Flash and Arrow and Legends and, I don't know, whatever else. iZombie.
Actually, I've never looked. They probably do shoot in Vancouver, though. It's actually mostly an indoor show. It kind of wouldn't matter. That thing could happen in my backyard.
Except for the tax breaks.
I would give it tax breaks. I have no power to employ such a thing, but I could pull out a sheet of notebook paper and write it in crayon and hope they trusted me.
I would.
I'd try. I did finish that season, and yeah, it's still kind of pretty good, actually.
So you want to hear about some Flash stuff, man?
Of course.
So, first of all, fun story over on Fat Man on Batman. Teddy Sears tells the story about how Zoom was totally spoiled for everyone, and no one happened to catch it. Apparently, he went onto IMDb,
yeah,
and he saw that his he was listed for it or whatever, and it was like Teddy Sears as Jay Garrick / Zoom, and had like the episode numbers listed. And he was like, oh, well, I guess they know what they're doing. And then, like shortly after, it was all taken down because the studio caught it. But no one else reported on it. No one else said anything.
Damn it.
That's crazy, isn't it? Like, the episodes that he was in didn't even have, like, names, apparently, at this point.
Oh, see, that's why I wish I had the time to compulsively check IMDb every 20 minutes. In the hope that something like that would happen.
You don't want that, man.
In a way, yeah.
Know that.
Oh, who doesn't want to rake that story?
Oh, to break it? Yeah, sure.
Sure.
So Kevin and Teddy were talking about, I guess, with Mark Bernardin, too. But yeah. I don't see a quote from him here, so screw it, right?
We'll assume he had colorful commentary.
Yeah, I assume. He's a fine addition, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Teddy was saying, aside from the script, or maybe it was Kevin here. Is that Kevin here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kevin.
Okay.
He says, aside from the script that I did, the Zach Stentz script, which is emotionally wonderful, but they teased two things. Well, they didn't tease. I was there on set, but the breakdown of what the last two episodes are. And there was something that happened in the episode right after mine where I was like, and it involves you in a big bad way, talking about Teddy Sears, that I was like, slams the table. Like, I wish that I was directing it because it's mad genius. And
then they cut the mics off and geeked out for a little while.
Right, and they're talking about apparently how, like, I haven't gotten to watch this one yet.
No, I haven't. This is news to me. I haven't gotten to check up on them in a while, so I've got to go listen to this one now.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah.
After he says they spoke. Apparently, the article says they spoke about the writing feels as if nothing has been held back. Smith says that's what this feels like. Like it felt not like writing, like we're running out of time. Oh shit, we're up against it. Just throw anything down. It is definitely plotted, and they made a really kind of like bold choice. We are almost like, again, kind of like what Teddy said earlier, how you go into season 3. But they must have had a conversation where, like, if we're going to do this, we must. What happens when we land because the jump is glorious? And Sears says the jump is glorious, but if you don't have something to land on when you jump, why jump? He says,
that's true, and he should go right for The Walking Dead.
He says, then the jump is a gimmick, but it's so not. They so have it nicely figured out, I think, for where to launch season 3. Nice. That makes me excited.
Yes.
That's, especially since it has been rumored, they have said that apparently Henry and Tina McGee have a really great, quote, moment in tonight's episode, 222. This is also the episode where Katie Cassidy shows up as Black Siren. There are pictures of her as Black Siren floating around.
That one's going down, yeah.
I am so excited for The Flash. Like, people are always, like, when people find out that I do this podcast, they're like, oh, okay. Like, so, like, what do you think is the best superhero show? Like, they're like, challenging me. Like, what do you think is the best superhero show? I'm like, what do I think is the best, or what's my favorite? Well, what's the difference? Well, the best is probably Daredevil, but my favorite is The Flash. But you know what? The Flash is quickly gaining on Daredevil. I'm actually like 2 episodes into Daredevil season 2.
Yeah.
And I'm down so far. But I'm nowhere near as excited to watch that 3rd episode of Daredevil
as
season 2
next week's Flash,
as I am for tomorrow's Flash. Yeah. Like, I'm on pins and needles. I'm like, Flash.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know that there's anything else that I hit play on that I'm more excited about when it happens.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like, I haven't felt this way about a show since I was like, I don't know, 13, and Syfy's The Invisible Man was coming on. Nah, I wasn't 13. I was like 16 or 17, but still.
I liked it. Damn you!
It made me feel like I was 13.
Right.
Why did you guys have to cancel it? I know the creator canceled it, but he wasn't willing to work with Syfy's demands, but I missed that show. Please release season 2 on DVD. Damn it, I have season 1.
It's killing him. It's killing him.
I did you get what I sent you at Facebook last night?
I don't know.
It is an Instagram picture that's been screenshotted, obviously, and saved at the very least. And Stephen Amell posted it, I guess, to his Facebook.
Oh yes, I did. I woke up at 4 a.m. and thought, "Why is my phone glowing?" And saw that. And, yeah, okay. And attempted to sleep again.
It's a picture of Stephen Amell with the Oliver Queen Green Arrow goatee.
Of course,
it's real. He's growing it out. He says the beard moves along, and then he accompanied that with a quote, with 2 quotes from him. The first quote is, quote, "I'll never grow the Green Arrow goatee, dash Stephen Amell." Then the one below it is, quote, "Please remember that I am an idiot, Stephen Amell."
Stephen Amell. That's why he's our spirit animal sometimes. Because a lot of what we say is like, we believe this thing strongly about DC materials, dash DC on screen. Remember always that we're idiots, dash DC on screen.
Yeah. I think that's the closest he's been to our spirit animal, honestly.
It's actually true. He's probably a better animal than us most days.
Oh, absolutely. So guess who else is on the Arrow train now?
Go for it.
Kevin Smith.
What?
The last time I was listening to Kevin Smith's show regularly,
there's a bit of
which
vitriol.
It's really just a time thing for me. I enjoy the hell out of Kevin Smith's show.
Yeah.
And honestly, I kind of like to let him get backed up so I can just listen to him all at once.
Oh yeah.
But it's one of the few things that I actually have the luxury of doing that with now.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, podcast. Damn me and my decisions to do things.
Right.
Anyway, so now, the last time I listened to Fat Man on Batman and heard Kevin Smith talk about Arrow, he was like, "Oh, they took a swipe at me. I don't want to do this," because they apparently said no, he won't have anything to do with Arrow.
Yeah.
Years ago. Well, apparently he's, and I'll say this about Kevin, man. He will keep a grudge going for a minute. And then, 2 seconds, all they have to do is be like, "Hey, man, come direct an episode of The Flash," or 2. And he's like, "I want to write Arrow." They don't even have to really, offer him anything either. It's like, if, Muse has been hounding him to watch Arrow forever, I know.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
And now it looks like that possibility's on the table. Looks like he's gotten to know some people over there. And, okay, no bad feelings then. Cool. He's always willing to forgive, seems like.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's saying I wouldn't want to write The Flash. I would, though, like to write on Arrow. I would love to jump in for a 1 or 2 episode arc just to bring that onomatopoeia character to life. That would be so badass.
That actually would be fun.
It really would.
Yeah.
I created this character in the comics, and then to do a live-action version of that and have it fit into their universe and their run on the show, that would be exciting to me. That's the one I can get my head around writing. But Flash, whenever they bring me back, I think I prefer somebody else doing the writing. I heard a rumor that when I go back, I think Zach Stentz might be writing my script again, which would be amazing. We'd be keeping the home team together, so that'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I've wanted Kevin Smith to be writing on Arrow anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know he had that grudge, but to Smith's credit, he's the first person to call himself a piece of shit about something. He has feelings about things. He re-examines them for half a second and goes, "Oh, fuck that. I made a poor decision."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he can admit that too.
Yes.
And I like that about Kevin Smith.
I'm always I've read many of things he's put up and thought, "Oh, yeah, good job calling yourself out there, buddy. I can learn from that too."
I mean, even to the point where he was like, "BVS is a piece of shit," and 2 days later, he's like, "I saw it again. It wasn't that bad."
Right.
It had some good stuff in it.
Right.
All right, Kevin. All right, you big mook.
Right.
Get in here.
Group hug.
Which, if me and Kevin Smith hugged, we're 2 large guys. I think that would qualify as a group hug. That's
There'd be a strange absence of arms.
Oh, man. In case you hear this, Kevin, that was not a swipe. We love you. If I meet you, I will lick your beard, if you want me to.
Not trying to do this without consent.
Beard licking should be consensual.
Anytime.
So, spoilers for Legends of Tomorrow. We know that Wentworth Miller's character, Leonard Snart, made the ultimate sacrifice last week. But,
what do you say?
Looks like
Forgive
he
me,
has...
old friend.
There are no strings on me.
Oh, you did a good job.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my bad Snart impersonation is no indication that he's done a poor job.
No. It reminds me of the fact that he did a good job.
Oh, okay. Good. But apparently he's not necessarily gone. He's not going to be a regular on Legends anymore, but he has a new deal to be a recurring character on apparently all the other shows. Berlanti said, "We always knew that he wouldn't be a permanent member of the Wave Rider. We also knew we loved him on the show and all the shows, Flash as well. So yeah, they planned this out. He's also doing the Prison Break revival, as you mentioned last week, I think. Or somebody mentioned. Maybe it wasn't even on the show.
No, I don't think it was.
I don't know.
I didn't know about that.
You know what? I don't remember things anymore. I don't know what's on the show and what's not on the show.
But good news.
Isn't that sad?
As part of our news show, Prison Break revival.
Yeah, Prison Break revival. I don't know how they're going to do it because I've heard things about how that show ends, but whatever.
I asked the fiance about it, and she said it ended too late.
Oh,
yeah, she got bored.
Oh.
She got bored somewhere before the actual ending happened.
I think that's the same thing she said about Ally McBeal.
Actually, that is true.
Like,
yeah.
Oh no. It kind of did. It kind of did, kind of didn't. Like, I didn't want it to end because I liked Ally McBeal a lot. But
there are a ton of shows have gone down that route. Like, good show. Last 30% of it maybe couldn't have been there.
Yeah, and also like, instead of season 5, can we just have Robert Downey Jr. come back for like one scene, Fox, please? I know he's on drugs still, but can he come back for just one scene and they run into the sunset and that's it?
Just flood him with saline.
Can we not end this journey with her with John Bon Jovi? Can't we not end this with John Bon Jovi?
I say this as a life rule.
And Claire Bennett.
No one's story should end with John Bon Jovi.
It's like Ally McBeal ends with John Bon Jovi and Claire Bennett from Heroes. Like, no. No. Why?
I mean, Claire, okay. But, that poor girl. Her show just got canceled. They're shopping it out. But
yeah.
Nashville's done for now, guys. Sorry.
Bye, guys. Anyway, so new heroes apparently on the Wave Rider, though. Apparently, there's going to be 2 more people coming on. They're unnamed. We don't know who they are. We don't know if they have comic book counterparts. We don't know. The first is the grandson of a famed World War II veteran whose Han Solo-esque swagger masks an inner turmoil that he finally conquers once his superpowers manifest. And the second is described as an African-American female member of a WW2 paramilitary squad who is intent on avenging her loved one's tragic death. Both of those, especially the second one, sounds awful. Like,
I have nothing against it in theory.
That just sounds like Kendra.
I can't. I just can't think of who it is. First one,
I can't either.
Maybe a Captain Atom version or something. But
I was thinking maybe I don't know, maybe a Sergeant Rock.
You've wanted Sergeant Rock
reference,
though.
like, huh?
You've really wanted Sergeant Rock though for a while.
Yeah. But that might be how they get him. Like, they bring on Sergeant Rock's grandson or some shit.
Right.
You know? As for this female character,
Run that by me again.
The intent on
what's her
avenging
story?
African American female member of a WW2 paramilitary squad. Which I'm not sure that was a thing, but I'm really not sure that was a thing. I remember in the Korean War, MASH got a lot of shit because there were no African Americans in the military, in the, quote, white man's military. And they had them in MASH, and that wasn't a thing in Korea. So, I mean, not to mention the fact they called the one black guy on the show Spear Chucker. But, I mean, whatever.
Oh, dear God.
That was his name. That was from the books, even. The books, the movie, the show. And then they decided they suddenly jumped back and went, oh my God, that's terrible.
Oh, what have we done?
And they wrote him off the show. They wrote him off the show.
Just bury it as hard as you can, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he was a football player in the movie. I don't remember the book, what he was, but he was a football player in the movie. Who got sent over to Korea. But anyway.
I have no idea on
MASH.
her. They might be pulling
I know too much
Friends drama. with her.
Yeah, but what I don't like about her character so far, from what I hear, is who is intent on avenging her loved one's tragic death. That just sounds like another Kendra. Like, just yesterday, I was a female member of a WW2 paramilitary squad / barista, and now my loved one has died, and I have to avenge it. Yeah, I don't want to see that again. I just don't.
Do ya?
And it also sounds like Rip Hunter, too.
You know, well, I can't hold that against anything here in particular. There's a ton of avenging former teammates. It's just, it's a trope we live with in this kind of world.
I guess so. Don't mean I have to like it.
That's fair, but...
Why can't someone just be a hero because they're good?
I don't know.
What are they?
New 52,
have some terrible
New 52 destroy that for us.
Tragedy. No, it's a trope. This has been a trope since this started. You have to have your original parents blow up or get shot in an alley before you can do any damn thing good. And freaking Captain America, he's the closest we got as far as like just wanting to do good. But if we really look at what he was really just small. He just has small dog syndrome and he got a shot to be big. That's all that's happened.
Okay, yeah, but in all fairness to that character, most people, when they get a shot to be big, absolutely royally screw it.
Sure.
He stayed true.
Sure.
Stayed true to the
mission. He did stay true.
I just realized,
the closest person, I think, that just wants to be good would probably be Barry Allen, but they did. They messed it up with New 52 and Flashpoint.
Still. I know. But,
or Rebirth, or whatever.
Flash,
actually, it wasn't New 52. It wasn't New 52. It was Rebirth. It was Flash Rebirth.
Oh.
Flash Rebirth, not New Rebirth.
Okay, yeah.
It was Jeff Johns shit.
Johns! Damn you doing things that are adversarial.
Damn you, making Barry Allen more interesting as a character.
You clever bastard. I just remembered, though, I was reminded, we're going to get Suits' Patrick J. Adams. Is that right? Is that in the season-ending arrival of a caped hero played by...
I've heard that is a thing. Yes, we've talked about it on the show. We don't know who it is though. I'm assuming it's not Booster Gold.
No, apparently that is
at this point
out of bounds now.
I would assume
they do say caped hero. I remember us only being able to speculate before. There's not any. You haven't seen developments on that. I take it.
No, I haven't seen anything on that.
Yep.
God, you know what?
I'm looking
One
forward
thing
to that, though.
You want to know something crazy?
Sure.
Though, kind of related to this, and we should have talked about it earlier.
Why not?
But we didn't. Suicide Squad cast, we're talking about this a little bit. And they took note that even in those like specials that aired, or in that special that aired a while back, and they've taken note that the producers have been referring to the, quote, Justice League universe as opposed to DCEU. So it's possible that DCU is just blanket over everything, DC TV and everything. It's all extended universe, but the Justice League universe will be separate. They were saying that it's possible, and they were speculating. But they were talking about how Booster Gold might actually be separate from the Justice League universe movies and might actually be more of a part of the Arrow Flash stuff, but just might be a movie.
It's a fine speculation.
I hope that's not the case, but I kind of don't care.
No, for people like us, that would be great. We could weed and separate and hope for things. Like the same way we watched Supergirl and thought, oh man, it's the same writers, it's the same producers, it's the same guy. We can hope for the best, and then we finally got it. Oh.
But I kind of feel like doing yet another universe.
Too confusing.
That's just one more...
Too confusing for the average person.
It might be too confusing for the average person. Also, it's just one more like save the cat or one more annoying obstacle plot point that we have to get through to get crossovers.
Yeah, that could be a little clunky too, yeah. But having heard people in my personal life ask me if Christian Bale retired and Ben Affleck took over the mantle, as though it was the same story, I gotta say, I think like having that many diverse universes that are intertwined but not quite, it's too much for the average person to keep up with. The casual viewer, they have no chance on that. You'd have to have a recap and a recursor, and then at that point, they'd be right to give you the recap, and it would come across as over expositional for the rest of us.
Man, I love you, Jason.
We'd be just sitting there going, "Get to the meat of the story."
Yeah. Hey, we just got a message from Christian Fuentes on our Facebook page.
What up,
he
buddy?
says, I just realized... What?
What up, bud?
He says, I just realized Lucifer is the DC TV fans' Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Bad start, good near the end of the first season, but if you dropped off early, you refuse to believe it's gotten watchable. That's pretty good.
That's actually all right. Well, we said this in the Lucifer finale review, that if you watch like episode 1 and 2-ish, and then we told you like, all right, from like episode 10 come back. If we made it a 5-episode season for you and spliced some shit together and kind of hybrided, we could make it a good like 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much anything between 2 and 10 would be a crossover kind of supercut.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the pilot. I felt so disappointed afterward.
The pilot was pretty good.
I mean, there really ain't no rest for the wicked.
Oh.
Those cats are great in concert, by the way. If you see Cage the Elephant on your local venues, hit that shit up.
I probably won't, but because I'm not that big of a fan of concerts
You just don't do the
anymore.
concert thing. But other people.
Yeah,
Trust me.
I'm old. Don't listen to me.
That frontman moves
listen to the podcast.
Moves like a young Mick Jagger.
Sorry, I swear, like our fans are getting used to the fact that we record at this time because I'm just getting tons of feedback here.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Sorry, I'm doing a quick read through. Okay, lots of notifications that have little to do with this. Little to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a good point. The conversation is heating up over on Twitter with ourselves and the Suicide Squad cast. There's a poll up. We are going to have a crossover episode with the Suicide Squad cast. We think it's going to be July 2nd, as far as I know, but we're still waiting to hear back on confirmation from that. But we're going to review one of the worst DC movies ever. The poll is up. You can go vote now. It's pinned to the top of both of our Twitter accounts, DC On Screen and Suicide Squad cast. It's between Batman and Robin, Catwoman, Steel, and Jonah Hex. God. Right now, Batman and Robin is killing it in the polls. So if you don't want Batman and Robin, you want Catwoman or Steel or something, go vote.
There's a shiver down my spine when you mention all those 4 names.
I know. And believe me, guys, we would have done Superman 4, but we promised our buddy Scott Madison from simplysyndicated.com that we would do Superman 4 Quest for Peace with him.
Sure.
By the way, they released a new podcast episode today. So over on their movie news, Simply Syndicated movie news. So
hit it up.
Yeah, that's fun too.
And spoilers for the episode with Scott. We're gonna think it's bad.
Yes.
Just didn't want to get anyone's hopes up.
Yes.
We will not be the saviors of Quest for Peace.
You know what? Parts of that movie are salvageable.
Parts of about any movie are salvageable. At least there's an establishing shot of a city where you're like, oh, it's a pretty city.
Right.
Sometimes that's all you got.
I mean,
well, I liked when the credits rolled.
I will say this: when I was a kid, I knew it was bad, but I still enjoyed the hell out of it.
I probably did.
There are drawings.
I probably did too.
There are drawings floating around my mother's with Nuclear Man.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Saying. Anyway, you got anything else? Because I don't know, I'm kind of out.
Yeah, I think it pretty much covered the news, man.
Did we?
The news we know about.
Let's go find more. La.
You probably can pretty immediately.
Probably. Gotham's going on right now.
I mean, May's a little bit like rife with news if you look in the TV
look
section.
hard enough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff floating around, but it's not, pertinent.
Yeah.
I don't think it's pertinent. Like our buddy Jacob Raspberry over at Screen Explosion is sending me messages in regards to Gotham, which I'm not watching right now. I haven't seen, so I'm trying to stay away.
Right.
I was like, oh, what's Jacob saying? Oh, spoilers, stuff.
Let me watch the damn thing.
Oh, so yeah, man, I'm just so psyched for everything that's coming up, man. Anyway, I think I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call the episode.
Wait, hold on.
What?
You said something about Civil War.
Oh yeah, we were gonna talk about Civil War, weren't we?
Yeah.
All right.
For anyone who didn't get to next fast enough on their playlist, what were you gonna say about Civil War?
I didn't care for it too much. and spoilers for Civil War. It was not sour grapes over the BVS bad reviews. I've had people say that to me.
Sure.
They're like, "Oh, you just don't like it because..." No, I love Marvel stuff and I actually wanted it to be really good. I felt like the part from the moment the word Queens popped up on the screen to the end of that airport fight, it was a pretty solid movie. It's definitely the best Spider-Man movie that's ever been made. Spider-Man,
previous to this, the best Spider-Man scene ever was, "Oh, you found my weakness, small knives."
That was a great Spider-Man scene.
That was a great Spider-Man scene.
Yeah, so I got some flack on Twitter because I said that Spider-Man saved Civil War from being an absolute bore. I absolutely stand by that. While Tony Stark, it wasn't a clickbait title, it wasn't meant for to be doing anything. That's the way I felt, and there were so many callbacks. Like we knew that Winter Soldier killed Howard Stark and his wife in Winter Soldier. Like it was alluded to. Yeah, it was nice to get an actual confirmation on that, but I didn't need the 25. It felt like 25 callbacks to the slow burn of revealing Bucky as the one who crashed the Stark's car.
Actually, all right. On the other side of the memory spectrum, I do not recall where that came up where that came up in Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm. Is when they broke into that old SSR base.
Yeah, and you told me that, and I have a vague recollection of it now, but I still didn't.
I don't mind them bringing it up. I just didn't need the 25.
They went back to it a lot. They went back to it a lot.
And I don't need to see all those blue packets over and over again, especially when you're just going to show me a 5-minute flashback of a bunch of super soldiers beating the shit out of people, and then misdirect me into the point where at the end they're just dead. I didn't want to see. Don't get me wrong. I didn't want to see the Avengers pull together and fight these dudes.
Stop a bunch of Winter Soldiers. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that either. I just didn't care about the plot. I didn't care about that. I didn't care about Zemo.
You didn't care about Zemo. That's what it amounted to.
Zemo was not needed.
Sadly, I don't disagree with you. There were so many more cool things that happened. In Civil War, Sharon Carter actually kills Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
That's a much more interesting story than anything that happened as far as
not
Zemo.
Not to mention the fact that this is freaking Civil War. It should have been a 2-part event. It should have been even longer, minus Zemo. Because it should have introduced the concept of Inhumans to the movie-going audience. We've been building up Inhumans in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they were doing it perfectly in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The 2 or 3 episodes before Civil War and the episode after Civil War was better than Civil War.
Did a great job of acknowledging everything that's happening.
It was better than Civil War. In those episodes and this entire season, the people on news outlets and shit have been talking about the Inhumans. The president has the ATCU coming after Inhumans. Inhumans are a big deal in the world because everyone kind of got exposed to the Terrigenesis through the fish oil.
Yeah.
So Inhumans are a thing. Winter Soldier, not one mention of an Inhuman.
Right. That is a problem.
That should have been a huge part of the Sokovia Accords. That should have been one of the first things.
That was a very thick book they got handed, and I feel like at least a quarter of it, a third, maybe a half even, should be about, hey, and there's this whole Inhuman thing happening?
Yeah, Thunderbolt
a couple of you just have cool suits and technology, but yeah, several of these guys, there's this Lash dude.
Right. Thunderbolt Ross should have been showing them the Sokovia and all the different things, and then been not to mention these damn Inhumans. Oh, okay, cool.
What I wouldn't have done for a picture of Lash at that moment.
And I understand their
while
trepidation.
They were going through Washington. Sokovia.
I understand their issues with bringing up the Inhumans because the people who watch the movies have never heard of an Inhumans before. No, the people who watch the movies just got kind of thrown into this whole oh well, look, there's Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch. What are they? They're miracles, and we've never really been told what the hell they are after that.
Yeah.
So whatever.
The Death Bolt problem.
They really, the Death Bolt problem, which we know what they are because shit, man, we watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was the whole point of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We can introduce these big concepts and then dig deeper into it on a weekly basis on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's what we all wanted with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's kind of what we've gotten, except for the fact that they won't acknowledge the freaking Inhumans in Civil War. We don't have mutants. The comics were freaking epic, and I knew it wasn't going to be like the comics because, I mean, we don't have the X-Men. We don't have the Fantastic Four at our disposal.
I know.
Shit, we were lucky to get Spider-Man in the mix.
Right. That was a huge thing. I get that.
But, yeah, this didn't feel like a Civil War so much as it felt like a freaking skirmish at an airport. And that was fine. That was like, that from Queens to the skirmish at the airport.
Oh, dude. All right.
Was pretty much the best Marvel movie that's ever been made. But everything before and after it.
Comic book movies that have ever been made, even including the Avengers. That was
everything
absurd.
Before and after it condenses it down to, like, just this side of the Incredible Hulk. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't want to see, like, the idea of rewatching this movie, like, makes me die a little inside. Because I know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and, like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch the Queen stuff and I'm going to watch the airport scene. And I might kind of pop around and watch some Black Panther shit.
Oh, the Black Panther shit was amazing.
And you know what else bugged me? That we talked about
was great.
We watched an entire Ant-Man movie where he was talking about how he wanted to be a hero and he wanted to get out of the crime business.
This was actually, that is my... I have quibbles with a lot of the movie, and there are parts of it that I agree were just not as interesting as they could have been. Look, I can coach speak it, but bottom line is I was really entertained by the movie, but there are things that didn't live up to normal Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
I have a real problem with what they did with Ant-Man. That the entirety of that movie was about him proving that he would rather be the hero his daughter wants than the criminal he was before. And he gets a call from some dude, and he just goes right back to it.
And see, they left that ambiguous. Because
they did that with Hawkman, too. And he actually gives a quick shout-out to, what are you doing here? I'm disappointing my wife and children.
Right.
For the purpose of plot.
You know what, though? What happened? Did they roofie Ant-Man? He wakes up in a van.
Okay, all right. I imagine him as the kind of guy that would just fall asleep on a road trip.
I hope, but he was laying on the floor in the van.
I thought he was actually laying in the seat, like sidewise.
Was he?
I think he was actually laying in like it looked like one of those vans that has kind of a double seat situation.
Maybe.
Even then, the floor of a van sometimes is actually more comfortable than the back of a van seats.
Whatever. My point is, like, they're like, oh, it's illegal, and he's like,
He's right on board because screw that daughter I talked about for 2 hours.
Screw my daughter. I'm gonna, wind up being thrown into a prison in the middle of the friggin' ocean.
Right.
Well, I mean, Cap saves him at the end, pulls him out, but I mean, shit.
But now he's a criminal. Where is he going to see his kid
And now he's
again?
on the run. Yeah. I don't know, man. I just, I
guess it regressed his character in a way that really bothered me because I loved the Ant-Man film. I did because it was all these movies had led up to something, and as I've said before, that was just a movie about a guy and his daughter. It was really touching.
Absolutely.
And then this undid all of that. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. So I felt like the Zemo stuff was almost there just for the redirect, or the misdirect, and
which was fine because that was actually the plot.
Later.
I mean, the plot was a misdirect. Like Black Panther's the guy that
even need that.
No, but like Black Panther, at least to be fair to the script, as far as it was, as far as whether it was tight, yeah, like Black Panther's the guy that the audience is supposed to be following. Mm-hmm. Fine.
Well, as far as Black Panther's role, like, I've heard people say, like, oh, if you didn't have Zemo and you didn't have, you wouldn't have to. There would be no place for Black Panther. No, his father stood up for an ideal.
There would still be a place. Like, you just may not know about him. He's still out there doing his thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can still have him take a side in the Civil War, like, which it was not a Civil War, but
it was a very uncivil war, frankly.
And you know what was a missed opportunity? I felt, and there people are going to shit on me for saying this, but
we're going to get shit on for most of the last 10 minutes. But go ahead.
Probably there was a very your mom's name is Martha moment that they decided to diss. They moved away from it, and I felt like they shouldn't have. The whole time, like, Cap is like protecting Bucky, like when Vision knocks Rhodey out of the sky.
Yeah.
I felt like that should have been like a point where Tony went, oh shit, yeah, he's your boy. I kind of get you now. All right. I mean, we're still on opposite sides of this thing, but okay, I kind of get it. And honestly, I feel like, they could have had Zemo in the movie and just like changed it a little bit where like we didn't get so many flashback scenes. There were so many flashback scenes, and this is what it reminded me of. Mm-hmm. If you remember, I know I'm going to get so much shit. Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern. The constant cutbacks to the assassination of Howard Stark. reminded me of like how they kept cutting back to
The plane.
Hal Jordan's dad exploding in that plane. Like, no, no, no. Like, you don't have to keep reiterating that. I get it.
I can't actually remember how many times they did it, but
too many. It was like 4 times up front, and then like 3 or 4 times throughout.
Oh,
it was bad. I don't remember. I haven't seen Green Lantern in a while, but that's what it reminded me of. And you know what? Like, also like Tony's little hologram stuff, his hologram program. I felt like that was set up for something later in the movie that never happened. Like,
oh no, it was definitely set up for the thing that actually
something.
happened in the movie. It just.
It was, like, as far as, like, this is how I wish it would have happened, and establishing, once again, that Tony loves his parents now, but was kind of a dick back in the day.
Yeah, which is fine. That actually worked for me just fine, especially when you juxtapose it to him and Pepper separating now. Like, it's a guy that's struggling for a family. He can't start one. He lost the one he had. Mm-hmm. The guy screws every opportunity he has to actually have a family. That's fine. And it's kind of touching. And it actually,
but I felt like the technology
well.
the technology itself maybe should have been used.
Oh, the technology itself, I keep hoping, is something that might show up later. Because we're talking about a set of films, so a Chekhov's gun getting laid on a desk somewhere and forgotten, I can deal with that. Right.
Well, look, some of these are nitpicks, and I admit that. Largely, though, I felt like the movie was freaking boring. Spider-Man was amazing.
I wasn't bored.
No pun intended.
Yeah, he actually just genuinely
like,
was. I am 3,000% in favor of everything that happened to Spider-Man. I wasn't bored. I wish a couple of things had happened differently. I really did enjoy the film. I did. It was more fun than BVS, but that's not a criticism of BVS. It's a different kind of film.
It was more fun than BVS, but at the same time, I felt like it was not nearly as imaginative as BVS. It was actually, I felt like the cinematography looked a lot like Man of Steel. Like, it was just very monochrome.
I didn't get that. It was kind of it looked pretty. I don't know. It looked like The Winter Soldier, and I like the way the Russos have done their work generally. So I didn't have a problem with that. But
maybe it is just the tone. Really just made me notice the monochrome feeling a lot, the desaturated effect more. But
how can the script be so funny and yet so few colors come through?
Right.
I don't know, man.
I mean, there were some great humorous parts where, when he kisses Sharon and they're both in the car, like, smiling.
Yeah,
and
buddy.
Like, that was funny.
That's funny stuff.
It was
one
funny
of the
them hating
biggest
each other.
laughs. Yeah, one of the biggest laughs was after Spider-Man just absolutely kicks their asses, and he finally. What is What does Falcon call his little buddy?
I don't remember. Red Wing, something like that.
I tried. Every time he said it, there were people talking around me, and I couldn't actually hear what they had said he was calling him, and I don't know enough to say it. So whatever he calls his little flying buddy.
Mm-hmm. His drone.
Yeah, man. Yeah, his the drone takes out Spider-Man, and Bucky just says, "You couldn't have done that earlier." And I hate you, man. That was funny. That was really funny.
Yeah, it was.
Look, the film is funny. It's funny. It's enjoyable. It's entertaining. Like you're not gonna go through it and not.
But most of the stuff that we mentioned that was so funny
2 hours
was
of your life.
in that Queens to end of airport sequence.
Now there are parts coming up and going out. It's just that. About the 35% mark to about the 80% mark is where it starts to really ramp up. And then past the 80% mark, you kind of have to really trust that Civil War concept and you killed my parents. And at that point, if you've really trusted that and enjoyed the last 80%, why are you mad about BVS?
Yeah, I don't know. But again, I don't know. I did listen to Matt and Jeff talk about the Civil War thing. And it kind of killed me a little bit because they were like praising Civil War for doing the exact same thing they hated BVS for. Where they were like Matt was like, because Matt's told us like, yeah, like the first 40 minutes of Batman vs Superman is awful. It's so boring. They're just character building or whatever. And I still don't care about the characters. And here he's like, yeah, I mean, they took a while to get there. But I felt like it was a ballsy move that they utilized to build up the characters. Like, no, come on. So I haven't gotten to talk to Matt about my feelings on the movie yet. So Whatever.
Yeah.
It was just, I really want to make it clear. I wanted to love the movie. I just felt like it should have been 2 movies and cut out most of that Zemo shit.
It seemed like
Zemo was boring.
Yeah, I didn't care about Zemo as much, except the trick with it being a message from his like a voicemail that he saved. That was good.
Yeah, that was
the trick about the voicemail was that was a pull the throat in kind of moment. That was good, damn good. Mm-hmm. But I'm
not terribly interested to see where he's going.
You know what actually pulled me aside though was as much as I didn't care about Zemo, I did care about Bucky, and it was a Zemo Bucky story in a lot of ways. So Bucky kept me more interested, and transitive property Bucky and Captain America cared about that, and then when it finally culminated in Captain America and Iron Man, overall I was happy with the film. I mean, I enjoyed myself.
I'm glad you did, buddy. I wish I had. I mean, let's not, be foolish here. I'm going to buy the thing. It's going to be on my shelf.
You're going to watch every damn special feature because you can't help yourself. I understand.
Oh, and you know what pissed me off? There were a couple of bits in the trailer that I loved that they changed in the movie.
I Was Your Friend?
I Was Your Friend went from being sad to kind of mean, like angry and spiteful.
Yeah.
And there was a great shot of Tony looking at Cap going, sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth.
Yeah.
And they changed that, and the tone was different on that as well.
Yeah.
And it wasn't nearly as funny, and maybe it wasn't supposed to be, but I felt like the trailer version got it, like, you're like, oh, you're still, like, laughing, but you're like, oh, it still pulls you. Yeah, they changed a few things, and I thought it was for the worse.
I can't tell if I'm just biased because I really loved those moments in the trailers. Mm-hmm. And then seeing him in the theater, I thought, oh, you did that different.
Yeah.
No. I actually didn't mind as much on the teeth. I did mind on the I Was Your Friend. Because first trailer when he said I Was Your Friend Too, or is it I Was Your Friend Too? Or
So Was I.
So Was I? Shit.
He's my friend. So was I.
We're paraphrasing the whole time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And in the trailer, it was gut-wrenching. And in the movie, it was just another thing some angry person was saying while they hit another dude. Mm-hmm. Did not come across the same.
It didn't. I really wanted that to come across as heart-wrenching as it did in the trailer.
You know what kind of was as heart-wrenching, though? There's a moment where Cap's got him down. Cap's really got him down. The mask is off, the face is exposed, and the shield gets raised. And you can tell Tony's kind of wondering, he's about to kill me, isn't he? Like, you see the comeuppance of everything he's done in the last few minutes. That was great acting on both their parts.
Absolutely.
Just phenomenal moment.
The acting of any of these people is not in question, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
I would agree.
Kudos. And then my biggest problem with this, though, at the end, it's like there's nothing has really changed. Like, yeah, Cap's going to break everybody out, and, they've secretly got Tony in their pocket, where it's like, yeah, if you need help, let me know.
Not
and
in
if
the
I
pocket,
need help, I'll let you know.
There's a one-way...
They're still friends. And when Thanos comes around...
And it actually was a decent letter at the end. That was decent I'm sorry letter.
It was, but an I'm sorry letter after crippling... after Rhodey gets crippled, they've had a civil war, if they're calling it that, whatever. Yeah. Tony's thrown people in prison. He writes a letter. He knew about, he knew that Bucky killed Tony's father. Okay, and mother. Yeah. It was more about the mother for Tony anyway. But
yeah,
it seemed like anyway. But all of that stuff went down, man. And it seems like it was like a wink. It was an ending with a wink where it was just like, by the way, they're not going to be gone forever. They're not going to split up forever because we got Thanos. Thanos is coming.
Because, shit's going down.
And here's Spider-Man. Wink, wink.
Oh, one of my favorite moments out of that was, speaking of what's going down in the future, do you know where Thor and Banner are right now? Because if I'd misplaced a like 30, what is it? You call it like a 30 million ton. How the hell they qualified nuclear bombs? Mm-hmm. Giant ones. You'd bet there'd be consequences for me right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we've talked about it longer than I wanted to, and talked about it longer than I said we would, but especially with this being a DC podcast. But
of course,
yeah. You know what? I think as always, one informs the other, and both inform each other. So this was a huge tentpole event. I'm actually honestly surprised we didn't just throw up a review of the whole damn thing as a separate episode anyway. But
not our bailiwick
of a news episode. It's not. We just can't help ourselves sometimes. But yeah, I wanted it to be a good, better movie than it was. I felt. The world doesn't agree with me. They think it was a much better movie than I thought it was. So.
No, I don't even.
Congratulations.
Completely. I mean, I have my problems, but I enjoyed the shit out of that movie.
Yeah.
Put it this way, I have my questions, but I got out of it what I expected.
I don't have my questions. I mean, it held together as a plot. It made sense. But I mean,
except for Ant-Man.
And as much as character motivations, but we can headcanon that shit anyway. Because, Ant-Man would be like, well, criminal or not, my daughter would want me to be a hero, and that's the important thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
It's Captain
and
America,
Hawkeye
and I love
the same
Captain
thing,
America.
But
yeah, absolutely. So
drop a line. Damn it.
What kind of world will my children grow up in? Blah. Yeah, we can pull those headcanons in.
They didn't do that.
Whatever.
Instead, they spent like 30 seconds on him shaking his hand. No.
I know.
That was a missed opportunity there.
That was the place where they should have gone for the real thing instead of the joke. But
could have made all of that matter instead of making Paul Rudd just another funny guy, which he's an incredibly funny guy. Let him be.
But he's also a father. He's also a father in this thing. I felt like the plot pretty much held together. Of course, I also thought that about BVS. So take that for what you will.
Good God, we've gone on for 25 minutes after we said this was over.
I know.
All right.
You want to call it?
I'll call it.
Marvel, we still love you. Still looking forward to Doctor Strange and all the things.
Of course we are.
Killing it on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., killing it on Daredevil. All hugs, man. Sorry about Agent Carter. Please wrap that up. Please, Netflix, bring that in. I actually want to see that wrapped up.
I wouldn't mind it. Not one bit.
So anyway, thank you very much for listening to DC on Screen, or Civil War on Screen, whatever. You can find every episode at dconscreen.com. You can subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher and all the places wherever you listen to podcasts, I guess. We are going to be coming back with more episode reviews, Gotham, Flash, Arrow, and Legends in the coming week. So watch out for that. And I don't know, go over to iTunes. Give us some good reviews on iTunes, man. We haven't gotten any of those in a while.
Oh.
I know. You know what we should start doing? I'm very tempted to just rip off the Squadcast and just offer giveaways for trade paperbacks. Screw our artwork. No one wants that. They want trade paperbacks. Those cats have got over 100 reviews over there on iTunes already. So.
In a world where we had money.
Right. No, I've got $15. I've got $15 to do a trade paperback, drawing. every 10 reviews.
All right, you make a fair point. We will consider this in the future.
I'm going to talk to them, and I'll say, hey, you guys mind us ripping off your contest thing? And they'll probably be like, no, but secretly they'll have a problem with it.
Right.
They need all the help they can get, and we'll be like, yeah, we do. I'm just kidding.
And then we'll say, we love you guys, but we're going to do it anyway. Please forgive us. You can't copyright a contest. You can't copyright a giveaway. I'm just kidding. So yeah. Anyway, we are a proud member of the Giant Size Team Up Network. GiantSizeTeamUp.com. Go over there and check out all these other really cool shows like Breaking the Panel and our sister show, the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast with Matt Carroll and Jeff Randall. MCUcast.com for them. I think that's it. Guys, we love you. Until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.